Ka tange te tite, ka tange te kaka, ka tange hoke aho, tihe Māori ora. In the indigenous language of New Zealand, Māori, that means the seabird calls, the parrot calls, and now I am calling too. Let there be life. Gosa! While it hasn't always been the way, today in Wellington we treasure our relationship with Māori and embrace the culture, language and customs. This is something I know we have in common with Taipei and many other cities in the region. There are other connections too, of course. We share a love of nature, we share a love of the outdoors. I know that you love your craft beer in Taipei, and I assure you that this is an excellent basis on which to base international affairs. We'll get on just fine. We share a great fear of earthquakes. Both of our nations and many others represented here today know only too well the destructive power of earthquakes, like the Canterbury earthquake in New Zealand in 2011, Tohoku earthquake and tsunami in Japan in the same year, and the 2016 Manghong Taiwan earthquake that caused so much loss of life and billions of dollars in property damage. It is of course essential that we review all our seismic hazard models to prepare for future earthquakes, and we are very proud of our joint research program in this area. You can see that geologically Wellington is a young city. We are built around a beautiful, beautiful harbour, and we have many wonderful streams that flow into the harbour. Basically, Wellington is a water city. The Māori knew this. They don't see water as just a resource to be utilised. They describe water as having Māori. Māori means life force, the essential quality and vitality of being, a symbol of life and a source of emotions. They say, ka ora te wai, ka ora te whenua, ka ora te whenua, ka ora te tangata. If the water is healthy, the land will be nourished. If the land is nourished, the people will be provided for. I know that this special connection with water and nature is shared by many of you. After all, beer is made from water. But of course, that's not all. Water is life, literally. Before European settlement, water was the main source of sustenance in New Zealand Aotearoa. These are kura, freshwater crayfish. My kids love to catch and release them in the local stream. But once upon a time, they were a major food source. I can tell you with some confidence that those claws are stronger than they look. And we love eels, or tuna in Māori, somewhat confusingly. We love them for two reasons. One, they are very tasty, and two, we know that if there are eels and frogs living in the water, then the water is healthy. If the water is healthy, the land will be nourished. If the land is nourished, the people will be provided for. Lately in my beautiful city, we've had a few problems with our wastewater. We've had sewage going into the water, and the water isn't as clean as we would like. We worry that the water's Māori might have been compromised. But we care so much about Māori that the government and my mayor have both started strategic initiatives to invest more money so that the life force can be returned. The government has introduced a regulator and new laws to require communities to better respect the water, The Mayor has urgently commissioned a task force to address these challenges. I am proud to be a member of this task force. Māori are heavily involved in these initiatives. Their ancient connection with the water and with the land is embodied in a concept known as kaitiakitanga. There isn't a single word in English for kaitiakitanga. It kind of means we don't own the water or the land. We're just guardians of it for the next generation. Because people come and they go, but the water and the land remain long after us. There's another reason we care deeply about vibrant water in New Zealand. It's a personal favourite of mine as a member of the energy sector. Quite literally, our water provides our energy. In New Zealand, 90% of our electricity comes from renewable sources, and most of that is generated by the mighty power of water. Hydroelectricity has been a part of New Zealand's energy supply system for over 100 years. There are currently over 5,000 megawatts of installed hydro capacity in New Zealand, and the popularity will continue to rise. As battery technology improves and more electric vehicles are adopted, I can see a time when we will not need to burn fossil fuels in our vehicle fleet in New Zealand. I think we are uniquely placed in the world to achieve this, and it is all because of the vibrant life force of the water environment. In fact, we could do this tomorrow if we were all prepared to change our vehicles, but in New Zealand we like to keep our old cars for as long as possible, so it might be a few years away yet. I actually have faith that humanity can address climate change in ways like this, and indeed I personally believe that new technologies such as hydrogen will play a big role in our future energy needs. But that's probably a generation or so away. Hopefully my kids can enjoy it. In many places around the world, of course, water itself is used for transport. In Wellington, we don't do this so much. We're in love with our motor cars. But as a road becomes more congested and under the road is filled with pipes and cables, we have to think of alternative ways of getting around. One way is water transport. It is direct, pretty quick. You don't need to pay for expensive roads. A natural pathway. And as the sea level rises, we are all going to have to learn to live with more water. And that does not need to be a bad thing. For example, one of the main streets in Wellington used to be a natural canal. In 1855, a big earthquake raised the land and drained the water. So, of course, we built a road there. But now there's more intense rainfall and the sea is trying to snatch the land back. So we're wondering, do we let the water come back? Do we daylight the stream and let the water, the wai, come back into our city? Do we give up a road, replace it with a stream? Imagine if in the middle of our city we could catch our eels and our kura once more. Imagine if we could reconnect the people with the water, use those natural waterways to support our pipe network, to strain out the impurities before the water is released to the sea. My job as a city leader is to turn these imaginings into a reality. And on this one, my senses tell me that people are ready to connect with the water. And I am very happy about that because my favourite brewery is nearby, and I would like nothing better than to watch my kids catching kura while I sip on a cold IPA that comes from the very same water source. Ka ora te wai, ka ora te whenua. Ka ora te whenua, ka ora te tangata. If the water is healthy, the land will be nourished. If the land is nourished, the people will be provided for. Thank you very much for your time today. I really look forward to buying you a beer when you come to my beautiful city. Kia ora e noho rā, Tosia. Thank you.